I had enough, at least. That's what I told myself, that the numbers on the screen were already more than I had ever imagined, more than I needed, more than I once dreamed about during sleepless nights. But somehow, it didn't feel like enough. Because the market kept moving, the charts kept rising, and the voices in my head kept whispering, just a little more. This is the part no one talks about, not the beginning, not the struggle, not even the first win, but the moment after you've already won, and still can't stop. Because in the crypto market, the greatest danger isn't losing, it's wanting more. When you already have enough. Most people believe trading is about intelligence. They think success comes from knowing more indicators, more patterns, more strategies. They believe if they just study hard enough, watch enough videos, follow the right people, they will finally figure it out. But the market doesn't reward knowledge. The way you think, it reveals something deeper. It reveals you, because two people can look at the same chart, see the same opportunity, and make completely different decisions. One takes profit, the other waits. One feels gratitude, the other feels regret for not making more. And that difference has nothing to do with skill, it has everything to do with psychology. The uncomfortable truth is this: most traders don't lose because they don't know enough. They lose because they don't know when to stop. There's a pattern you'll start to notice. It doesn't matter if someone starts with $100 or $100,000. At first they're careful. Every move feels heavy. Every decision is slow. Every loss hurts. Then something changes. They win. And that first win changes everything. Not because of the money, but because of what it does to the mind. It creates a new belief. If I can do this once, I can do it again. So they take another trade. And another and another. At first it works. Confidence grows, fear disappears, and slowly, something else takes its place. Greed. But greed doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't announce itself. It disguises itself as ambition. As opportunity. Being smart, you start telling yourself stories. The market is strong. This project still has potential. It hasn't peaked yet. And maybe you're right, but that's not the point, because the decision is no longer based on reality. It's based on desire. The desire for more, even when you already have enough. This is where the real mistake happens. Not when you enter, not when you take risk, but when you refuse to walk away, because walking away feels wrong. It feels like you're missing out, like you're leaving money on the table, like everyone else will continue winning without you. And that feeling, that fear of missing out, is stronger than logic. So you stay, hold longer than you planned. You ignore the signals you once respected. You move your targets higher, not because the market changed, but because you did. And the market notices. Because the crypto market has a strange way of teaching lessons. It doesn't punish instantly. It waits. It lets you feel smart. It lets you believe you've mastered it, and then it takes it back. Slowly at first, a small dip. You tell yourself it's normal. Then a deeper drop. You say it's just a correction. Then suddenly, everything changes, and the profits you once had start disappearing. Not all at once, but just enough to keep you hoping. Maybe it will bounce. Maybe it will recover. Maybe I should wait. And so you do. You wait. As the market teaches you the one lesson you try to avoid. Enough is a decision, not a number. The hardest lesson in crypto isn't how to make money, it's how to keep it. Because making money feels exciting, it's fast, it's emotional, it feels like progress. But keeping money, that requires something else: patience. Discipline, and most importantly, the ability to walk away when your mind is telling you to stay. This is where most people fail, not because they're careless, but because they're human. We are wired to chase more. To push further. Believe that the next step will finally be enough. But in the market, more is a moving target. It never stays still. And if you keep chasing it, you'll never feel satisfied. No matter how much you gain, there's a quiet shift that happens in successful investors. It's not visible. You won't see it on charts. You won't hear it in loud predictions, but it's there. At some point, they stop chasing. They stop trying to maximize every opportunity. They stop needing to be right all the time, and instead, they start protecting what they have. They begin asking a different question. not how much can I make, but what am I willing to lose? That question changes everything because it brings you back to reality. It reminds you that every gain is temporary until you secure it, that every opportunity comes with a cost, and that the market doesn't owe you anything. Successful investors understand something. Most people ignore the goal isn't to win every time. The goal is to survive long enough to let time work in your favor. And survival requires limits, clear rules, defined exits, and the strength to follow them, even when it feels uncomfortable, especially when it feels uncomfortable, because here's the truth. The moment you feel like you've had enough, that's the moment you're most vulnerable. Not when you're losing, not when you're struggling, but when you're winning and tempted to keep going. That's when your guard drops. That's when discipline fades. That's when you start believing this time will be different. But the market doesn't change. Only the faces do. New traders. Same emotions, same mistakes. Same outcomes, over and over again. This is the karma of the market, not in a mystical sense, but in a psychological one. Your actions, your decisions, your mindset, they come back to you if you chase blindly. You lose blindly if you act with patience. You gain with clarity. And if you ignore your limits, the market will remind you why they exist. So what does it mean to have enough? It doesn't mean you stop investing. It doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you define your boundaries before the market tests them. It means you decide in advance. This is where I take profit. This is where I walk away. This is where I protect myself. And when the moment comes, you follow through, not because it feels right, but because you already made the decision. When you are thinking clearly, that's the difference. Successful investors don't rely on emotions in the moment. They rely on decisions made in calm, because they know the moment is where emotions are strongest, and emotions are expansive. So if you find yourself thinking, I had enough, but I want more, pause. Just for a moment. Ask yourself a simple question. If the market took everything back tomorrow, would today's decision still make sense? If the answer is no, then maybe you already know what to do, because the market will always offer more opportunities, but it will not always offer you the chance to walk away with what you already have. And sometimes the smartest move is not taking another step forward, but choosing to stop. If this message resonated with you, then you've already experienced it, that feeling, that pull, that quiet voice saying, just a little more. And now you see it for what it is, not opportunity, but temptation. A test. One that every investor faces, again and again. So the next time it happens, you'll recognize it, and maybe you'll make a different choice, because in the end, the market doesn't reward those who want more. It rewards those who know when they already have enough. And if you're learning to see that, you're already ahead of most. Subscribe if you want more insights like this. Not about charts. Not about predictions, but about the one thing that truly shapes your results.